Hello, I'm Donnie Vie, and this is chapter 2, or my second little video for the mockumentary, or whatever we call it. It's Q&A and various other things. I'm going to probably tell stories on some of these. I don't know, maybe sing some songs. I had some fun. I just did one not long ago, a couple weeks ago, and I had fun with it, and it was a good response, and so I was encouraged to do more of these. So this is my second one, and I hope you like it, and it's fun. So these questions are sent in by you, the fans and friends, and this is uncensored and uninhibited, we call it. But if you know me, you know that I'm that way anyway. So let's start with question 1. When you write a song that deals with an emotional pain, do you relive that pain and experience when singing it live? And if so, how hard is that for you? Well, to begin with, when writing songs about a deep emotional pain, very few of them am I writing at the time where I'm feeling it, you know. I mean, sometimes they do, but I'll write a song like when I'm feeling it though, but usually it's later when I'm writing the words. You know, I'll have some words and the theme and basic idea of the song, the concept of it. But, you know, you're writing a lot of the words and filling things in later when it's time to sing. At least I do. And so it's like a book writer, like a story writer. I have a lot of experiences in my life. And so when I'm writing a song, and, you know, like I always say, the song tells me what it wants to be. And as soon as I know where it's going, what it's about, and this and that, you know, I can search back into my memory log on my little hard drive in the head, and I have all these experiences and all this shit in my life that I've lived through, and I know, and feelings, and, you know, numbness or pain or happiness and things like that. And so when it's time to write lyrics, you know, I got to fill in all the blanks, and I've gotten better at it. There were some songs like New Thing and stuff that was just ridiculous lyrics. On the first record, there's some pretty cheesy-ass lyrics, but I've gotten a lot better at it. I'm pretty proud of it. The latest record, Beautiful Things, I think is the best lyrics that I've ever written, because I'm down to really fine-tuning, and, you know, it's down to the last little adjective or whatever, you know, make sure the vowels and the syllables all line up perfectly. I'm tweaking these as we go.
Our last words have all been said. All your fresh flowers dead. Pull the covers from the bed that still smell like you. I hope you like your new place. Your closet got enough space. I'm laying low, I'm letting go. Find comfort from the radio. Right now it doesn't feel like this broken heart will heal, but soon you'll find appeal in something brand new. Occasionally find things, little sad remindings of the love we made, but that too will fade like a worn out birthday video. Goodbyes, just a part of love when it dies. The fire goes out in your eyes. You try to remember the good times, the glowing smiles and the sunshine, and all of the good we achieved when both of us tried and believed. A child we bared from a good place and throw it all in a suitcase. You can carry along with you too when you're crawling back from the blue. Sitting on the floor in some t-shirt that I wore, just staring at the door, hoping I might walk through. After a night of drinking, it's when you get to thinking of crawling back, but keep on the track, 'cause that's no place your face ought to go. Goodbyes, just a part of love when it dies. When the fire goes out in your eyes, you try to remember the good times, back from the blue. Oh yeah.
As far as when I'm singing them live, at that time, my focus is basically the show, the performance, what I'm singing on my pipes, singing the notes, you know, hanging in there with that, the energy and rapport with the crowd, you know, remembering my guitar parts, things like that, all of the mechanicals and the calisthenics or athletics of performing live, and very seldom would I be reliving a moment emotionally through the lyrics. I have recently, we did the first Donnie Vie band show. I, for some reason, started tearing up and breaking down during Bridge Over Troubled Water, which isn't even one of my songs.
When you're weary and feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side when you need a friend, and friends just can't be found like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're down and out and on the street, when evening comes so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes, Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, yeah, you need a friend. I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your
songs, but I don't know why that happened. In the studio, there's been a couple occasions where I got emotional when I'm recording the song, like "Loser of the World." You can hear it at the end of it, that little crack in my voice, you know, and so you can hear me crack because that was like the one take. I just sang it one time, and I actually didn't even know if the tape was rolling when I was doing that.
Well, look at me out on my own again, when I should be on my way home again. No mystery that I'm alone again, the loser of the world. The one I love is never true to me, and not above what she can do to me. I'm so tired of trying to get through to me, the loser of the world. Hey, won't you stay? I've been so long in the dark, the nights become my day. You look at me, let it enlighten you, and what you see, don't let it frighten you. You just might be a little bit like me too, the loser of the world, the loser of the world, the loser of the world.
There was another one, "Suicide." I remember when I finished that song, 'cause that was a terrible time in my life, and I really felt that song. And as I was singing it and tracking it, I remember seeing the engineer in the control room and stuff, and Chip, and I'm out there, pretty solemn looking, and I remember the engineer had like tears in his eyes, and I did too a little bit. You know, that was another one that was one take.
I feel so was so lonely I would cry. The wrongs turn to right, the darkness is my light. With my eyes wide open wide, there's something in the air, and it smells like suicide. Oh yeah, hopeless. I feel so hopeless in my head. I'm hopeless, rope open, dopeless. I'm in the red. That's what I said. My days are breaking up, and I don't like waking up, 'cause I feel so very tired. There's something in the air, and it smells like
And after I was done with it, I was like, excuse me, I'm sorry, let me get it together. I'll sing it again. They're like, no, that was a credit chip. Like, no, brother, there's nothing left to say. That's it. You did it. You nailed it. And a lot of times he'll say that just to get done, But that one, I think there was that kind of issue. And but I feel I'm recording them. Very seldom live do I choke up or feel the emotions of things. There's too many other things I'm thinking about at that time. How did that guitar build come out, and did you use it on your new singles? I didn't have it yet when I finished up these newer tracks. All my favorite things, I didn't have it yet. I was just using my telly and some other things. I got some decent guitars. But I didn't. What I have gotten rid of a lot of guitars that were the humbucking, like Les Pauls and all that stuff. I used to play that all the time, and I just stopped. I've lost my passion for plugging in, humbucking guitar into it. I used to have a Marshall Super Lead, an old '70s Marshall Super Lead that most of my except for the early days when it Mesa Boogie endorsements and stuff, and that what really didn't thrill me. But this old Super Lead, and I ended up having to sell it, like a lot of other stuff when times got tough and it was broke. I had to sell, like my purple Les Paul. I had to actually sell that. I sold it for, I had to pay bills and stuff like that, and I had another one, but a lot of guitars got Jones and this and that, but that one I'm getting back. I found it, and I'm getting that one back. But this guitar started out as a project, and I, that's all I was making it for. Where's that damn pick? As a project, and I didn't really count on it being any good. So as I started making it, I took my time with it. As far as the the looks of it, the sanding it and all the polyurethane and everything, that I really did it right, and I was kind of proud of that. I was going to make it cherry, and as I first put the seal coat on it, the first coat of seal, it looked like this color, and I was like, holy shit, I like it like that, It reminded me a little bit of Lennon's old Epiphone, but looked really good like that, and I just figured, why fuck around? Why mess it up? This looks nice, and everybody else agreed. That looks really nice like that. So that's just basically all the fine sanding and stuff, the color of the guitar with the seal. seal, and then polyurethane and all those coats of polyurethane. When it came to putting it all the parts and everything in it, I just took all the parts and everything that came with the guitar and I chucked them. All just garbage, you could tell by looking at it. And my buddy Rob, he built one too at the same time. His was 175, ES 175, and he used the stuff that came with it. And it actually was pretty good. It ended up working out pretty good, but I insisted on him putting a better pickup in it, so I actually bought him, I think, a 59 burst bucker or something and sent it to him, and it just surprised me. So you put that in there. And I bought Pearly Gates, like my favorite pickups, and those. And then as far as all the electronics and stuff, I got the old vintage. I just kept Googling what did they have in like the old ES335s and stuff, and I got the vintage pots and wiring and the switches and all that shit. But with these ES335s, they're a bitch to wire because you got to fish everything through this hole and then somehow get your fingers and maneuver and get things up through the holes and stuff. And my solder job was kind of, not professional. So things are twisting and bending and stuff like that. So I ended up buying a pre-wired harness that's, all the knobs, the switch, the wiring, everything is already wired together and it comes in one piece, and to put that in. But still, I had the same issue going through that F-hole. It's like, fuck, man. So, like, unlike other ES335s, mine, I said fuck it, and I cut a fucking backplate and shoved it in there. So that was made it easy, and it turned out, this guitar turned out to be currently my favorite guitar. It sounds and it plays really great. I've had other people, I had it set up, and the guy that set it up said, this is fucking great guitar. If you ever want to sell it, I'll take it. And I don't want to sell it. I like it because I built it, number one. And how fine is that when you build a guitar and it turned out to be your favorite guitar? Maybe, I don't know if it's my favorite because it's newest. I have the other things I have, they're all specifically for different things. It's single coils, tellies, or SG with the P90s. It's sort of my favorite pickup. I got a Gretsch over there with those stock pickups. Strat. I actually put a split coiled mini humbucker in the Strat, so it can go Strat sound or sort of humbucker. But it's not the same as a humbucker. But this one, I'm not plugged into an amp right now. I am plugged into the recording console and have virtual amps, which sound like shit, but it actually sounds really good if you could hear it. And through my amps over there, especially my favorite, the Bad Cat. That's my favorite new amp, and sounds amazing. And this thing sounds amazing through it. But all my guitars sound amazing through that. But I'm tracking a song currently. So what I did is I just called up an empty track and threw dissonance in there, because I've had a lot of people ask me how to play dissonance properly, because nobody seems to be able to cop it. And I've heard a couple people try, and I've even had the guitar player and a couple guitar players in my band back in Nuff's Enough. We did the song and they still weren't playing it right, and they just were copying it. What it is number one, my old faithful go-to and best friend on guitar is low D tuning. I tune the low E down to a D, and I use that lately. Every song there's a low D track. It's just it doesn't matter what key it's in, because every time you play it's like you can get a chord out of one note instead of like these 2-finger chords, power chords. You got that with, so that's a chord right there, and everywhere you go, you got a chord. So it's fat and it's heavy and like. That one, or forget what song that is. But dissonance, that's low D tuning, but with a capo. I put a capo on the 2nd fret. So I don't know if you could see this, but on the 2nd fret, just playing it, with low D tuning on the second fret, his song just plays itself, and you gotta. See, it's like when it's capoed and it's in that low D tuning, this thing just plays itself like a. Super easy. Play most of the song with one finger, two fingers. And so that's how you do it. I don't know if you can see it, but just the riff though, capoed at the second fret, low D tuning. So that's it. That's dissonance. I haven't used them on new singles yet because I didn't have it for the latest singles and the next one that's coming out, Party Time. I didn't have this yet. But you will be hearing it on fucking everything from now on, as I love it. Yeah, it's great. So it came out good. I didn't have any expectations, but I recommend trying it. You know, everybody's got if you're a guitar player, everybody should try to make one once in their life. I would never be able to actually cut wood and make a hollow body guitar. I would never be able to do that in a million years. You know, that's yeah, I recommend trying it. Number 3. Who is an artist that you would most like to work with, living or dead? Would you want it to be just a songwriting experience or singing together or both? Someone I'd like to work with, living or dead? Well, obviously, there's the obvious ones, you know, but I don't know. I was curious about when, before Velvet Revolver was together, before they got Scott, there was I never applied for it. I know, but I know there's guys like Slash, you know, he's not technically the greatest guitar player, but he's really good parts, and really, you know, I always wanted to pair up with somebody like how Page and Plant were together, you know what I mean, or the Stones, or, you know, not necessarily the Beatles, but where one guy writes the killer music, where, you know, and I can just focus on making melodies and vocals over, you know, like with Jimmy Page, you know, he comes with that great music, you know, great guitar, the progressions and everything, you know, and then Plant, you know, writes what you sing over it, you know. I would like to do that, but I've never really come across somebody yet. Couple close here and there with a song or two, but never really had found that kind of guy. And you know, not taking anything away from Chip, but there wasn't anything like that either. What I like to work with? Well, shit, all of the greats. Jimmy Page, I don't know. Obviously not with the Beatles, because what am I going to do with those guys? But maybe, I don't know. That's a hard one to say. There's a lot of great artists there. I would like to, I've worked with some really great ones, but we'll see. I don't know how to answer that. Maybe Butch Walker would be interesting. Tell me something about Johnny Monaco. He was so good in the band, and an amazing guitar player with great vocals. He was a great addition to the lineup. Did you guys get along mostly? Would you like him to play again? Johnny Monaco. I gotta be careful here, because I piss him off so many times when it's just all in fun and playing. I'll tell you one story, a good one. John used to like when he first joined the band. He was super respectful, super fan, and you know. And I remember him telling me, even when we were looking for a new guitar player, when Derek, we were thinking of firing Derek. Johnny was one of them that came out, and I remember he knew every song and like all of the parts, like how they go, the parts from the records and the vocals and the harmonies. I was like, man, this guy, it wasn't exactly visually what we were looking for at the time, but not to say he's not good looking or anything, but Derek, we ended up getting Derek back. But when we had Gino Martino was back in the band for a short period of time, playing live with us, and we were getting ready to go out on tour, and like the day before we were ready to, no, I think it was 2 days before we were ready to leave for tour, Gino's father committed suicide, and Gino couldn't leave. And I remember Chip like, oh, hey, there's nothing you can do about it now. We got to go to work. And I'm like, you crazy asshole. Because he's got to go. He's got to stay there with the family. So we were like, what are we going to do? 3-piece? And that would have been a nightmare. I've done some stuff 3-piece, and they're okay. It's a different kind of show. But I said, what about that guy? And I never could remember his name. I used to call him something else because he looked just like this other dude. And we gave him a call. And so I thought, hey, man, this guy really, really likes the band. Really probably want to be in it. And he knows all the... Like, that's something that really none of the guitar players that I've ever played with, they actually learn and know and play the same thing twice. You know what I mean? Johnny actually learns all of the parts from the record and learns them all perfectly. So all the parts are there when he's playing with you. Vocally, he's a great singer, and he actually took my job for a while, for many years, and then came back and did it again. He was Donnie Vie, and but he's a good singer. He could sing like almost like anybody. I've heard him do Dio. I've heard him do Beatles stuff. I've heard him do all kinds of shit. I've heard him do me. But he could sing. He's like a chameleon. He's like the Rich Little of rock, and so our voices blend together really well. And I remember at the time when John came on board, we had been there's only was two vocalists in the band all the way for 3 records and all of that time playing. Originally we had Gene and Bo before the lineup for the debut record, and Gene and Bo, those guys sang. It was a choir. It was great. I'd sing lead vocals, and those guys would do the backups like at the same time on a different mic and stuff, and the band was great, and the vocals and everything. But we lost all that with Vic and Derek. Derek couldn't sing, and he tried one time. He insisted on getting a mic because Eddie Van Halen would sing, and though I think it was Love Train, and the look on his face when he was singing, because there's more than just singing. There's years of experience of how you look when you're singing. And I remember Derek is just like all bug-eyed, like, Love Train! I'm like, negative, get rid of the fucking microphone, you're not singing. And Vic, I guess it turned out later that he can sing, and he said he could sing back then. But he said a lot of things so you wouldn't necessarily believe him. He's full of shit. But so we had bought the wireless, or the whatever, that Winger fucking microphone or whatever. It had hooked onto his head so he could sing, and rehearsed some things, and it sounded all right. He had a decent voice. And then we'd go into the songs live, go into the show, and I'm looking for, we would open with like Magical Mystery Tour for a while. And you can't do Magical Mystery Tour without at least 3-part harmony, and it's just me and Chip, like, roll up! And I'm like, no, fuck. And I look back at him, and he's not singing, and I'm like, what are you doing? The thing wasn't even on, and he's just like, I'm like, fuck you, man. I said, waste that money. I want the thing back. But it turned out he could sing later. But in any case, we had nobody else singing, and so when Johnny came on, it was like heaven for me, because all of a sudden we had these, Chip could do the third part or something. Chip would do the obvious one, but John would sing great harmonies with me that meshed. And like, you know, like when we did Time to Let You Go for the first time, he actually knew the harmony. Like Chip doesn't know the harmony. He's can't even cop that. But Johnny sang it with me perfectly. It was for that aspect of John, fantastic. As far as his personality, he can be just like me and like anybody else. There's some questionable aspects to it. I'll tell you a story that was after. I mean, the respect and all of that stuff was short-lived when he got in the band. You know, he'd just seen us for buffoons, and especially me. It was, you know, he's another one of those guys. Maybe if I had his talent, or the most talented singer-songwriter in the world, but it's always that but that where they're going to define you. You know, the one thing he's this and that, and he's a great singer, this and that. But so John, who got that way, and you know, he go to school and things to learn the things that I just do naturally, but actually I worked hard. You know, I was doing that when I was little. But he used to walk around. This one tour, he'd walk around everywhere he went with this fucking video camcorder, and I would see him all the time. I'm like, what the fuck are you taping? He's just like, oh, just this and that. And I'm like, man, he's always got it. So one day it was sitting in the back of the bus, and I don't know where he was at inside. So I picked it up, and I just decided to see what kind of shit he's recording. And I watched one clip, and I rewound it more, and and the whole damn thing, at least this tape, was him following me around, watching me, and doing commentary, like, you know, like what I'm thinking, or oh, look at him now, he's this and that. Oh, look at him over there with the fans, he thinks he's blah, 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 and this and that. I was like, what the fuck? It was psycho. And so I got in when it was time to go and stuff, time to go to leave and everything. He would always get in his bunk. I got in his bunk, and I laid sideways up against the back wall of the bunk, like so that, you know, he'd have his pillows and blankets. He wouldn't know, like the guy from When a Stranger Calls. And I was in there up back of the thing. So he got in his bunk and stretched out, and he, you know, this and that, and get ready to go to sleep. And then all of a sudden he hears, I'm right by his ear. I go, I forget. It was one of the quotes that he had in the video that I had seen, like, oh, look at him, blah, blah, blah. And I remember it stood out to me. I was like, that's the most fucked up thing. I can't believe this guy. And so all of a sudden I said it right in his ear, and he freaked the fuck out. He said, never expect me to be on that side, you know, all the way in the back inside. And he just flipped out, and like, he does karate and judo and stuff like that. He grabbed me, and we were wrestling around, and to make a long story short, he ended up doing when he's choked, like the Vulcan move, where he choked me out, and where it knocked me out. And I woke up. Now, I'm not saying, because there was other times when I got into it with John where as soon as I got him off the ground, all his karate and shit didn't matter. I just threw his ass across the whole room up against the wall and just throw him around. But this time he choked me out. And I come to, and I was like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, well, that's a smart move, to choke the singer out in the middle of a tour, you know. One thing led to another, and I ended up sending him his ass home, and we did finish that tour 3-piece. And we're out with, I think it was Dockin, too, where you got George Lynch, who's a great guitar player, and there's me, like, I would just had turn all the pedals on for solos, like, woo! That was terrible. But, yeah, that's a good Monaco story. And would I play with him again? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we were getting ready to start doing shows again before the pandemic. And I'd asked him, you know, we had some issues back and forth where he'd said okay. And then his bullshit would start as he's moody. And then I would get aggravated, and I'd get pissed off and feel insulted. So I'd insult him back, you know, and so back and forth. But I kept coming back to, after trying different guys and auditioning different guys. And when I asked, put it out there that I need a guitar player or a band or something, I get, you know, hundreds of fucking people like, I'm the guy, I'm this and that, you know. But a lot of them are thinking that I'm looking for another Derek Frigo, these stuff, and that's the last thing in the fucking world I need. And so just I mean, just to make it super easy, and I know that he's great, and I know that he'll know all the stuff and this and that. Whether if we can get along is the question, but I asked him to play in my new band, and we'll see once we start playing out again if he isn't super rich and famous at the time, and maybe playing with me again. What would you be doing if you weren't the amazing musician that you are? I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably by now. I mean, after either probably in prison, or if I wasn't a singer songwriter than I am, I think I'm would be perceived as an entirely different human being, just like a shit talking, troubled problem child. I don't know why I couldn't imagine. But there are other things that, I mean, I get to the point sometimes, and it's happened a few times in my life where I just not feeling this shit anymore, and like just recently I just kind of had a lull, and I was kind of like relieved when the pandemic, because I was not feeling like doing this, and got all this stuff set up and everything, and but right after I got out of the hospital, I went through a hell of a wave of songs that came to me. Hi, I'm Donnie Vie. Last year, after a close brush with death, the doctors told me if I wanted to survive, I'd pretty much have to cut out anything I like to eat or anything I like to do, smoking cigarettes, this and that. Then along comes this pandemic where all my concerts are canceled, going out, having fun, hanging out with people, anything else that's fun to do is canceled, and just going to sit home and do nothing. So I wrote this song. It's called All My Favorite Things. I think you can relate, and I think you'll dig it. Check it out.
Well, I just found out, and I still don't know what's all the fuss about. If the flowers grow, well, I feel alright. But I'm not okay. Why would I choose to fight? Same thing happens anyway. I love to stay up all night long, singing songs and drinking with my friends. That's girls, that's food, and smoking cigarettes. And if it's how it has to end, I guess that's just the way it goes. I won't let nothing clip my wings. I'd rather take my chances in the dark than lose all my favorite things. I'm a Chicago boy, but I love LA. And when I lose my joy, all I do is run away. I love to stay up all night long, singing songs and drinking with my friends. right on. Can you dig it?
And I think there's like 15, 16 songs that are tracked already, demoed, and because they just, when they come, and you got to get to work. And so fortunately, and so I mean, I've got an album and a half worth of, and really, really great stuff, new stuff. You know, the next stage, the next phase. Some of it's heavy, some of it's not, but it's all. I can assure you this and guarantee you this, that I know a lot of people are always surprised or amazed or this and that the next thing I come out with, the next record is wow, it's great, it's the best one ever. Well, this next stuff's even better. So I can count on at least a few more years. And especially now, I'm not releasing a whole album, just releasing singles, which is I think is the way to go. I'm good for probably for that many songs, probably the rest of my life. But I just wrote a couple new ones just recently. I have to get to tracking them, but I've been lazy. I'm doing other shit. I'm having a good time, like just living normal life and fixing things and building and remodeling different things and helping out here in the house with the family and lots of things that didn't get attended to that I get to be the hero. Kind of being sitting in as like a I wouldn't call it stepfather, but stepfatherly figure to her kids and Diana's kids, and that's really flattering. That's really touching for me because I didn't raise any kids. Not to say I don't have a few, but I didn't raise any, and I didn't raise these either. But they were going through a pretty crucial, crazy time when I came into the picture, and plus I came into the picture. I was fucking just went right into the hospital for a month and a half, and I was fucking sick and organs melting and stuff. But it was difficult times. She's going through a divorce, and their father is left, and a lot of negativity and a lot of bad vibes and bad feelings that they were feeling for him, and so it wasn't an easy time to be accepted, especially in that role, and it took a while, but I've gotten pretty close to these kids. I love them very much, and I can't wait to, I don't even say it, but I love them very much. I love being here, and I love this family, and I feel like I finally have a family for the first time in my life, and I'm finally like happy and content for the first time, and so that's why I don't feel like doing this shit all the time. I'm always doing different stuff and kicking it in my killer fucking pad, and but in any case, but what would I be if I didn't have my skills? Somebody would have killed me a long time ago. Professional shit talker. It's like, I think my ancestors, we were great talkers of shit, my family and my blood. And I believe that my ancestors were thrown off of the Mayflower. All right. Are there any Easy N or DV songs that you own or can't play live, and why? Oh shit, there's a hell of a lot of them. For various different reasons. Number one, the biggest reason was that the band wouldn't rehearse. And that was a big reason why I ended up leaving the band. We had a lot of animosity there. I didn't feel the band was giving what we're capable of, and that frustrated me because being the artist and writing the songs and the vocalist, I needed to get excited about these shows. I needed to be having fun and get into it, and and the fans too. A lot of our fans. This is like the 15th, 20th year they've been here, seeing these shows, come to every show, and there's the same fucking set list that they're still doing now. It's like, what the fuck? And I would get in arguments and a lot of issues over the set list. Is that we got all these great songs, and I know I am a fan of the band, but as a fan's perspective, point of view, I don't want to hear, We're All Alright, Baby Loves You, this and that. I like to hear those, but I want to hear all this killer shit that's on all those records. There's fucking 13 Enough's Enough records. I've got 5 of my own, even I put a couple of solo records out as when I was in Enough's Enough, and they wouldn't. You know, Dissonance was the last Enough's Enough record made. I don't consider these new ones that. And so I had a problem with that, an issue with that. Why aren't we making a record? Why aren't we working together? These guys are making merchandise money and collecting this and that, but they're not on one song. You know, they haven't played on one record. And you know, who the fuck? And so, but they were talented, you know, good players and stuff. So let's go into the studio. Let's see what we can do. Let's track a new record. Didn't happen. Fell on deaf ears. And so I ended up going in and tracking one myself, which was Wrapped Around My Middle Finger. And it was a great album, you know. Basically the next Enough's Enough album after Dissonance, you know. It's for what it's worth, and basically it's the same. It was the same process, except I had to play the bass. But how hard could it be? And then there's some songs though that obviously, so there's some in the studio. I sing a lot of shit that's unrealistic for me to be singing in the keys and how high they are and this and that. And but when I'm recording or tracking a song, I want to give it the best it can have. So I can do things in the studio that I could never pull off live, like every night and all through a whole show. I mean, first of all, I'm not gonna get exercise and get in shape and vocalize and quit smoking and all that stuff. So that's number one. Second of all, these things are you punch in and this and that. So like these what is it, back the blue, fallen blue thing that I do with Rob, there I'm finally starting to open up and enjoy and go for it with some vocal things where shit, the athletics of it are just how much I could do, how just to test myself, and so, but there's some stuff that I sing and it's really fucking hard because I don't sing with head voice like all these other guys know how to do. I can't sing like that. I belt it out like from here. So when I'm singing lead vocals on something, you can hear me down the block. People are looking out the windows and stuff. You got to keep the windows shut. So, and some of the shit that I sing is pretty hard to do and pretty up there.
Are you ready, Mr. Mills? Uno, dos. Uno, dos, tres, chinga!
but it sounds great for the record. So that's all I care about is the record. You know what I mean? Now there's stuff that are hard to sing and that I've never played live before. That once we start playing live again, that I can drop the keys lower the key a little bit, or get some backing tracks to sing along to, because I've never used backing tracks ever live. Enough's Enough, my stuff, never did backing tracks, which everybody uses. All the pros use those, and it covers a lot of shit. Like your whole chorus is in there in the back too. You're singing along with it. You're like Bon Jovi, living on a prayer. Oh, that shit's in already. You're hearing it out the speakers. It's always been what you hear, what you see is what you hear with me and my bands. But I'd like to change that. I want to use those things too, so I can make it as best live, as have something live that lives up to the records, because I think I do a pretty good job on that. If you could go back in time and join one iconic band as their lead singer, which band would it be? And not the Beatles. There's been a couple bands. Who the hell is it? I said, shit, if I was that singer, we'd have kicked ass. Obviously not any of the greatest bands, because how you replace these the heroes, obviously, and those are the bands that you want. Like I said, I would love to get into a situation where with like a band like Jellyfish, stuff like that. But with but he's a great singer. You need his voice. So I don't know how you could say that. I don't know, iconic band. I can't think of it. That's the best answer I can give you. I'll probably think of it later, but what good is that going to do? Which do you find it easier to write about, love or heartbreak? I find the easiest thing to write about, what comes the most natural to me, is probably songs with a bad attitude about women. Like I'm really good and really quick with when I'm not happy with women, or singing about bad relationships gone bad and stuff like that, because the lyrics just come to town when on those, because I have so much experience with that. I've been unlucky at love my whole life. Heartbreak, like I said, I'm a professional at this. I'm very experienced. I've gotten really, really good at lyrics and stuff, and so a lot of times people don't believe me. Like Diana's still like, how could you this song or this and that, who's that about? I'm like, it wasn't about anybody in particular. You know what I mean? It's just I'm like a book writer, a story writer. Like my wife would be like, my ex-wife, she was like this and that. Like, what is this song? Or they even get jealous. Some of my girlfriends would get jealous about a song or this and that.
Recording artist, you're not. Sure you're not.
So
are you talking about? I said, this is just a fucking song. They're just lyrics to a song. You have to understand when you're creating, and as many songs as I have, when you're actually creating a song, and that's my job. You understand it a lot better if you're doing it. What I'm saying, that they're like, well, how could you be have that good of lyrics or that passionate? It's like, well, so I'm not saying I don't have all those experiences or had all those feelings and all those emotions throughout my life. I just at that time, and most of the love songs were never about any girl in particular. That's a lot of people have a hard time believing that. It was kind of more writing love songs about like a dream girl, somebody I wished that would have came into my life.
I've got a little problem. I have to be the one, the second guy to know. But I've got a pretty little girlfriend that tells me all the time she'll be forever mine. And she says that your baby loves you. Yes, your baby loves you. When your baby loves you, nothing's gonna hurt you. Some nights I lie with eyes open, with so much on my mind, my teeth begin to grind. And you just hold me, you bring me to my senses. Everything's okay. I will hear her say when she says that your baby loves you. Yes, your baby loves you. And when your baby loves you, nothing's gonna hurt you. When your baby loves you, all your dreams can come true. When your baby loves you, nothing's gonna hurt you. Baby loves you. Love me tonight, love me tonight. Come on, baby, love me tonight, love me tonight, love me tonight. Come on, baby, love me tonight, love me tonight, love me tonight. Come on, baby, darling, love me tonight, love me tonight, love me tonight. Come on, pretty baby, love me tonight. Your baby loves you. When your baby loves you, when your baby loves you, nothing's gonna hurt you. Your baby loves you, your dreams can come true. When your baby loves you, nothing's gonna
Donnie, why did you never play I Could Never Be Without You in the original lineup live? Well, first of all, we did do it a few times, but not many.
see? Would it be alright? Make love to me. We'll make it alright. Touch your touch, feel you feel your body next to mine. But here you'll always stay with me until the end of time. I could never be without you. I could never live alone. I will be your friend forever. Just keep me from life on my own. I don't know how I ever found love right up till now. There was no sound. Please don't feel a thing about us, just believe in me. If you ever feel you doubt us, let me make you see. I could never be without you. I could never live alone. I will be your friend forever. Just keep me from life on my own.
In those days, our show was basically pretty much a balls out rock show with Derek and stuff like that. You know, Derek and Vic. It was a lot of energy and live. It was, you know, we were partying a lot and shit like that. That song, for some reason, I wrote it in a goofy key too. So I don't know why I wrote it in that key, but it's not super. Where you automatic pilot, you play the chords. It's kind of like in something sharp or something like that. I don't know why I wrote that. So, but we already had one ballad in the show, and then eventually after this first record, we were doing Fly Michelle. We're going to put another ballad in there in our show, which was most of the time we're opening for big artists and stuff. So we're only got 45 minutes or something. Then we started doing our own shows. By then, we had another record. We had 2 records out. And we also had stuff before the first 2 records that the band knew that we would occasionally play. And so I Can Never Be Without You it just got slipped through the cracks. And there was a lot of times where I thought about it. I said, I'd like to do I Could Ever Be Without You. I've done it a couple of times doing something, my own thing. And I think maybe we tried it once or twice. But it just slipped through the cracks. I love the song, you know. But since then, there's just so many. There's so many songs that don't get played, you know, so how are you going to single that one out? What are the most important fundamentals to learn on guitar in order to be able to improvise and write great songs? You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know any fundamentals. I don't have any technique. I'm a hack. Every time I pick it up or write and record a new song, I basically have to learn to play guitar all over again. I don't ever practice. I never have practiced. I've never sat there. Like, the hardest I ever practiced and most I ever sat with a guitar was the day I joined the band and didn't know how to play yet and had rehearsal the next day. That was for 24 hours straight. I sat there till my fingers were bleeding, learning how to play the chords and stuff. But I play out of necessity, and I play well enough. And it's the main thing is in here. You know, the fingers is definitely. I wish I had better technique and stuff. But the damn, this thing keeps closing. But it's up here. It's in the head. You know, like with vocals as well. There's a lot of it is in your brain. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the physical thing aspects of it. Fundamentals. Know all your chords. Obviously, know your majors, your minors, this and that, and just whatever you've learned to play on the guitar, however you learned, whatever your favorite bands are. Like I started out with Beatles, so knowing all those Beatles songs, all of those chords and chord changes and progressions with the melodies with them and stuff, you can get the book when you're starting out and see the chords and stuff, and before you know it, you can just tell what the chord's going to be. You can anticipate what the next chord will be just by where it's at or what's coming up, and you know, it's easy if you understand and you really know the songs inside and out. That when you're learning to play whatever songs you're learning to play, if you know that song inside out and you play along with it, then where you know that you're playing it right. But fundamentals, I don't know. I would say is fucking don't even buy a guitar. That's how it nowadays. For what? But you're asking the wrong guy for fundamentals. Okay, well, that's gonna wrap it up for this week's show, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm not even gonna watch it, so I hope it's good. And I know there's some maybe edit moments. I don't know if they'll edit them or not, but I'm not going to. As soon as I turn this off and close it, I'm sending it off to Lee Stokes and hope for the best. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching, and I'm going to try to do one, you know, at least every 2 weeks. And like I said, it won't always be just this Q&A thing, but that gives me a good format. And it's like you don't even need, you know, to prep a show or anything. Just read these questions. There you go. There's a show. I don't even call it a show, but mockumentary. So, but you can put them all together maybe one day and edit them down and stuff, and there'll be a documentary. But you'll have already have seen it. You know, just got to find a way to get people so they know they're coming out. So there's subscribers. So subscribe to DonnieVie.com and don't miss them. Because I'm gonna do like some what do they call it? Blogging. Well, I'm gonna do mine audio blogs or video blogs, and I got a lot of great stories that I could tell, like the whole Frigo story, the end of Frigo, you know, how I ended up the key witness in a murder trial. I mean, my whole life is a fucking crazy story. So keep watching and keep looking for them. And thank you and peace out.